Hey guys, Josh here. And we're living in very troubling times. I'm sure you guys have probably heard in the news now. If you haven't, you really need to start paying attention. I don't care what age you are. If you are, my age, if you're 10, if you're 75, I don't care what age you are because the stuff that's happening now, especially for young people, is really going to affect you in the future. And what I'm talking about here is this whole drone going on nonsense. I know you guys have probably heard by now that we're going to start flying drones over the actual U.S. Not going to be using them in war zones. We're going to actually be using them over U.S. Under the guise of being able to help catch criminals or some shit. I don't know, whatever fucking bullshit you're saying. And that should already be kind of disturbing enough. I mean, it's kind of similar to a helicopter surveillance in areas, just unmanned. Which, okay, I mean, that's not so bad, but these things, they are used in war zones not just for surveillance, but for also using airstrikes on people. So now that we have this, there's a big debate, which, as far as you ask me, there's no fucking debate about this, but there's a big debate now that whether or not the president has the ability to authorize a strike on a U.S. citizen on U.S. territory. If you have any bit of common sense at all, I don't care if you love Obama, I don't care if you hate Obama, I don't care if you love everybody in the government, if you hate everybody in the government. I hate every single one of them in the government because I know they're all fucking crooks and they don't give a shit about what is best for the people of America. But there is in no way that you should be able to think that the president, no matter who he is, has the ability to authorize a drone strike on a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil. There is no way that should happen. And we already killed. I won't say we. They already took a drone, did 2 strikes, and killed 2 U.S. citizens. That Anwar al-Awlaki, that asshole, and his son. And yes, they're U.S. citizens, but the way I look at those guys is this: they may be U.S. citizens, but those motherfuckers left the United States to go over to the desert to fight with those terroristic bastards that blew up our buildings and killed thousands of people in hours. So, you goddamn right. Sorry, when you go do that, you're not an American citizen anymore. You're a terroristic piece of shit. But with that being said, if they tried doing that shit from in the U.S. borders, well, guess what? We cannot just strike them. They need to actually be arrested and tried. U.S. citizens are protected under the 4th Amendment. That you're innocent until proven guilty by a jury of your peers. That was one of the entire reasons why this country was founded. The 4th most important thing is to make sure one person doesn't have the power to decide who lives and who dies just because they don't like what someone did. The founding fathers knew that. That's why they put that as the 4th fucking amendment. And we already have a government that's out of control trying to get rid of the 2nd Amendment so we can't protect ourselves. And then now they're actually thinking about being able to authorize drone strikes on U.S. citizens so we only have to have a trial by jury. So anyone say, well, you know what, you're opposing the government? Blow them up. We don't need them here. They're not helping our situation at all. They're not helping us out. That should sound scary as shit to you. And no, I don't, not just tinfoil hatting and everything, but this fucking whole situation is outrageous. It is out of control. It should not even be up to debate. The fact that the Attorney General, Eric Holder, thinks that in some form or fashion that it should be okay for this to happen, it shows you that that asshole should not have that job. He was an appointee of Obama or whatever, and of course he's going to approve that the president can do that, which I don't care if it's Obama, I don't care if it's Bush, I don't care if it's Clinton, I don't care if it's Reagan, I don't care if it was George motherfucking Washington. Those guys do not have the option. They do not have the power to decide whether or not a person lives or dies without trial. And don't try and say, well, it's the same as a cop going to arrest somebody and then the cop ends up shooting them because the person's trying to kill him. No, that's not the same at all. In that situation, the guy that the cop is trying to arrest made their decision. They decided that, know what, instead of me going to having a trial by juries, I'm going to try and take the life of a peace officer coming to arrest me to get me to my trial. No, that is totally fucking different. This is not the same thing. This This shouldn't even be up to debate. This should not even be an option to happen. Everyone needs to wake up. If you guys aren't hearing this and aren't enraged or terrified by it, then you are oblivious to what is happening to you and your rights in this country. This is ridiculous that this would even be suggested. And I commend Rand Paul and the people that stood up with him for the 13 hours the other day that he talked about this to finally get Eric Holder to kind of say no. When the question should be asked, the exact answer that comes out of their mouth first in a split second should be no. The president does not have the right to authorize this strike on U.S. citizens and condemn them to death. Wake up, people. This is not a good thing. I hate being political, but this is bullshit. Wake up. Thanks for watching.